Welcome to AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. Each week, we deliver informative health and wellness topics you want to know about, so be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast channel. And if you have any questions about content discussed in this episode, ask them at AFSPA Live, our live Q&A session, streaming every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/AFSPAcares. Now, here's your host, Chief Operating Officer Kyle Longton.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of AFSPA Talks. I'm Kyle Longton, and I'm glad to be here with you again this week with a brand new episode. Now, last week, we provided you with an overview and some highlights of the health plan offered by AFSPA, the Foreign Service Benefit Plan. But that's not all we do here. And many members, even after years of membership sometimes, are surprised to find out that AFSPA offers so much more. So today AFSPA talks about more than health because AFSPA is more than health insurance. And to walk us through everything we're going to talk about today, I am so glad to welcome back my colleague, Adrienne Coleman-Seabrooks.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, everyone. And it's always great to be here.
And for those who are watching on YouTube, you'll see that we're actually in the same room together for the first time in a long time for one of these.
It's nice to see Kyle in person.
And for those of you listening, the audio may be a little different because we are recording this in person rather than just over Zoom, but hopefully that brings a little more energy to the podcast at least. Now, Adrienne, of course, has been with us before on the podcast, and she provided her expertise most recently on AFSPA Live in February. Mm-hmm. But you've been with AFSPA for over 15 years at this point, right?
Yes, going on 17 in August. It will be 17 in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all that time's been on ancillary insurance programs, though you know that Foreign Service Benefit Plan inside and out as well. And you've been leading the team for what, the last 4 years now, is that right?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So let's jump in.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I'll just note before we do, we have episodes about most, if not all of these programs, separate episodes back in the feed. But this is meant to be an overview and an introduction for new members and longtime members alike, just to remind you that we've got more out there to offer to you. So Adrienne, can we start with a quick overview of what we mean when we say ancillary insurance programs or AIP?
Sure. So AIP is really at AFSPA's core. So I was very surprised and interesting to find out that our first programs that we've offered as an organization was a life insurance and annuity plan. But what does that mean for AIP today? Mm-hmm. And it means a plethora of insurance programs. So now we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer life, long-term care, travel, members of household.
All right. And we've also got some other partnerships that help our members, even if they're not insurance programs that we're selling.
Exactly. We do offer several wonderful professional services. We also have a discount care program through Carrington. So we'll talk a little bit more, I think, about that later on. But we also offer a legal service. We offer a financial wellness service. Mm-hmm. And a long-term care consulting service, not to mention a personalized federal retirement planning and counseling service.
Yeah, and that's so important for our members who are federal employees and annuitants, because it's a niche area.
Yes, and there's some nuances, I think.
Nuance is a nice way to put it. Yeah. It's a federal program. We'll leave it there.
Understood.
Well, so Adrienne, before we get into the programs, what is your team? What happens day to day with your team? Because there are now 5 members of the team, right?
There are 5 members. We are insurance specialists, and we assist members with enrollment, benefits, claim information, and much more, including putting them in touch with the right people at the underwriters and with their other partners.
Excellent. Okay. And so let's dig in then briefly on some of these programs. Can we start with dental? Because I think we get a lot of questions about that. People hear health insurance, they think, what about dental?
And I know that our members are familiar with the FSBP plans and not quite familiar with our plans. And we do offer quite a variety for them to choose from. Right now, we have 4 dental programs. We have an EPPO plan through Dominion National. Through Cigna, we offer 3 different plans: an HMO plan, a PPO plan, and a true international plan that we'll talk a little bit more about.
All right, so it sounds like something for most needs and budgets. And Adrienne, there are times when we go out and we talk to federal employees and others as subject matter experts, and there are times when we're talking about AFSPA. Well, the program is called AFSPA Talk, so we're going to talk about AFSPA. Okay. So you mentioned the FedBIP program, and that is familiar to a lot of our members, a lot of our listeners, but maybe what sets our plans apart from those FedBIP options?
There's several things that set us apart. And the FedBIP plans are very good plans.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you can only enroll and cancel during the federal open season. Our plans,
there's very limited qualifying life
events. That's that one
Yeah.
1 month window. So with our plans, you can enroll at any time and you can cancel at any time. And that really comes in handy for our foreign service personnel who may be transitioning overseas or back to the U.S. on assignment. The FedBIP dental plans do not qualify as a life event. So if you're in a domestic plan and you're going overseas, you're locked into that domestic plan until the next open season.
Yeah, that's an important difference and it's a difference from the health plan, the health program, federal employee health program.
Unlike, yes.
Stateside to overseas, overseas to stateside, qualifying life event, make a change to health. Exactly. Not the case for FedBIP.
Not for dental.
You can make changes or maybe enroll if you have a change in family composition, marriage, or somebody ages out, or children or something like that. But otherwise, you are pretty much locked in or perhaps out of the program until the next open season rolls around. So, and I think you mentioned this, we have a true international program. That also sets us apart because that doesn't exist within the
FedBIP plans. No, they work very well domestically, but once you start having overseas dental services, they consider that out of network, and they don't always have the tools to accommodate overseas claims. Our Cigna International plan actually covers overseas dental services at a higher network, a higher benefit level, as if it was in network, much like their FSBP or health plan. Right. It also translates your claims, and what's great is that they actually do partner with dentists, over 100,000 globally. So depending on the area where you reside, you may actually have a dentist in the area that has been screened by Cigna as if they were in-network providers here.
So important, where credentialing of dentists may vary from country to country.
We want to make sure those materials are quality, the water. That's right. And even price gouging, which is actually legal in many countries.
Yes, we hear about it from members weekly, if not every day. So, well, I want to deviate for a minute. I want to step off insurance plans that we have, but stay on the topic of dental. So for those in the United States who may not want dental insurance, may not feel like they need to pay that premium every month, we also offer an alternative. And you mentioned this earlier, but I wonder if you can go into a little more detail about the discount program.
Sure. We offer a discount program with Carrington. I just want to emphasize, this is not insurance. Yes. It is a discount program where you actually get discounted rates for dental, routine vision, and LASIK. It's kind of like a bundle, like your Verizon, and when you see one of their in-network providers, you actually can see, based on a fee schedule, just what you're going to pay to that provider for that service. So it's very transparent and it's very inexpensive. It's very affordable. You can pay a one-time membership fee, which is $20. And then for individual coverage, it's less than $10 a month. And for family coverage, it's less than $20 a month.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that, there's no waiting periods.
No waiting periods.
And no maximum. So if you want to get your teeth cleaned, I don't know anybody who's going to do it every month, but if you want to do it maybe quarterly, 3 times a year, you can. The discount's there each time.
It is. And that membership fee is a lifetime. So if you have to cancel, let's say, because this is only offered in the United States, you go overseas, you have to cancel. When you come back and you want to rejoin, they do not charge you that membership fee.
Yep. Lifetime membership in a way. And
Yeah.
Yep. That's great. So I encourage those who are interested in some sort of, I thought I would spare this line, but who aren't interested in insurance but want some assurance about what they're going to pay. Lands flat every time.
Yeah.
They can look at the discount plan. All right, let's
Exactly.
move back to insurance.
Sure.
Let's talk about life insurance, because this is something that a lot of our federal employee members are familiar with. They've got their FEGLI coverage.
Sure.
If they're like me, they may not fully understand all the nuances of
And
FEGLI.
that's understandable, because that's a very difficult plan, even for someone who understands life insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have some legacy programs in that space and some members who enrolled in those, but we have 3 plans basically that are open to members right now. Let's start with the immediate benefit plan. I know it's limited in terms of its eligibility.
It is limited. It's a wonderful plan though, and I wish it weren't limited, because I think so many of our members could benefit from it. But it's just that it's an immediate payout in the event of death or notification of death. Either $15,000 or $20,000 is paid out to your beneficiary within 48 hours of our notification. And what's even better, it's only $2 or $2.55 a pay period. So it's very affordable.
Yeah, that pay period is the key thing. It's because the premiums are done through a payroll withholding.
Yes, it
And
is.
so we've got to be able to work with the payroll office, and
Well,
that can be challenging.
it can. And we are navigating, some of those challenges and issues. And that's for us to do. Basically, that's going to come out of your earnings, and then we'll worry about how that translates.
Yes, we'll go from there.
Potential.
But so that's one that's limited in scope, but we also offer 2 other programs that are open to all members.
We do. So we also offer the Group Enhanced Life or GEL plan. This is a term life policy that offers coverage from $50,000 up to $600,000 in increments of $50,000. And it also has some nice added benefits that you can use while you're living. So if you were diagnosed with a terminal condition or is diagnosed with a chronic illness, you can use part of your benefit to use as you need those final days, or you can use it for caregiving expenses that may result or are needed after that chronic illness, for that chronic illness. And so it doesn't replace long-term care insurance by any means, but definitely you can use that benefit to supplement
some of those needs,
some of those caregiving needs and expenses.
So, and the other plan is it says exactly what it is: the accidental death and dismemberment insurance.
So I know we
yes.
had AD, and Kyle and I, we have an inside joke that it sounds so morose, but it is important. It is a reality, and not all accidents result in fatalities. So there may be some loss, whether it's paralysis, it could be a loss of appendages, sight, hearing. And so there's coverage for this, and you can use it to supplement your other life insurance plans, because that would be a double payment to your beneficiaries. And what's nice about AD&D is it's guaranteed issue. So you don't have to answer any health questions, and it's very affordable.
It is. And it's also easy to enroll in these programs. I did the enrollment myself through the online system just a couple of years ago. And it took very little time. And calculator there let me know exactly how much I would be paying and what the age bands were and so forth. So, and I think that's important because we have some news to share about the guaranteed, the Group Enhanced Life.
Yes.
Let it slip a little bit. I'll let you tell.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because we're really happy that for the first time since the inception of this plan in 2018, we're offering an open enrollment. And what does that mean? So from April 1st to June 30th, If you are under the age of 60, you can enroll for $50,000 without answering any health questions. No medical underwriting. And you can cover a spouse or a registered domestic partner for $25,000.
No questions
No
asked.
questions asked. And for our currently insured members, you can elect to increase your coverage. If you are covered for less than $550,000, not to exceed the $600,000, you can increase your current coverage by $50,000 and $25,000 if you cover your spouse or domestic partner under your plan.
I've got to read my emails better. That piece was new. That's great. So,
So
April 1st to June 30th.
April 1st. So be on the lookout because
Yes.
we will be sending out plenty of promotional materials and notices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, Adrienne, that I feel like anything after that is not as exciting, but I want to talk about, you mentioned not all accidents necessary. People have accidents can result in injury. Not all of them are fatal, but they can also result in being out of work for a time, as can some illnesses. We've talked about this before on the podcast, and that's where disability insurance comes in. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what we offer.
Sure. So disability insurance is designed to cover loss of income in the event that you have to take an extended period of time off of work due to an injury or illness. Our disability insurance offers several options and several elimination periods. And an elimination period or a waiting period is that time when you have to be medically certified.
That's important.
To be unable to work before benefits are available. So I liken it to a deductible. And we offer 2 plans. Well, actually, we have several plans underwritten by 2 different underwriters,
Right.
Lloyd's of London and also Cigna. You can either elect a 30-day waiting period, a 90-day waiting period. You can have an option of a 2-year benefit period or up to a 5-year benefit period, which is basically how long they will pay out for claim. So I invite anyone to go on our website. We're also available, the insurance specialist in our department, to answer any questions you may have.
This is another important coverage to think about, particularly for those, and I'm talking maybe to our newer members here, who don't have a lot of leave built up and may run through that quickly and then need a way to supplement income.
And certainly you're going to look at your leave. For some of our more seasoned members who have longevity, they may have a lot of paid leave built up. And when they underwrite these plans, the waiting period is supposed to be opportunities for you to use some of that leave. So if you're new, you probably don't have as much leave, so you might want to look at a 30-day plan. Whereas someone more seasoned that has a lot of time on the books may want to look at a 90-day plan.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, there are 2 other insurance plans that we offer that I want to touch on. The first is members of household. Now, what is this? Because it sounds like it could be anybody, but I think we're really thinking of specific people in someone's household when they're outside their country of nationality.
You're absolutely right. That's pretty much what that is. It's designed to provide adequate medical coverage for a member of your household that may be residing with you on a temporary basis while you are overseas, or for a national who may be residing with you when you're back in the United States, that are not eligible as dependents on your federal employee health benefit plan or the FSBP. So it could be a parent, step parent, in-laws, friends, even nannies. If they are coming to live with you for usually 6 months or more, you may be interested in, especially if they don't have medical insurance that will cover them globally. If you have elderly parent that has a Medicare plan, that's not going to cover you overseas. So you may want to look into the members of household insurance.
Absolutely. And you mentioned coverage globally. So let's also then talk about travel insurance. Is this the same thing that the airline offers me when I'm booking my flight and they say, check here, oh no, you're not protected? Or is it something
Not
different?
Right.
Okay.
It's a little different. Our plan is a little bit more extensive. I understand that if you're enrolled in the Foreign Service Benefit Plan, you have global medical coverage from anywhere in the world. And most travel plans are now travel medical. So they're going to have a little bit of medical insurance embedded. But for our members, you're really needing other services, such as medical evacuation back to your place of residence. We know that the Foreign Service Benefit Plan will medically transport you to the nearest treatment facility.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that it's back in the US or in your home state or place of residence. So you might want to get this insurance because they will cover you to be transported back to your home.
Right. And that comes up more often than one would think, particularly with some of our retirees who may be enjoying overseas travel or cruises. We hear from them a bit and then trying to figure out how to get home maybe after an accidental injury or something like that can be a challenge. So this is something to think about in that case. It's also, as Adrienne noted, something to think about for family members who are coming to visit you.
Yeah.
So because they may have that Medicare and that's it.
And if it's just a travel and travel insurance is available to your family members. So please feel free to refer them if they are going on a leisurely trip. But it's also repatriation of remains, and it does have the baggage loss, trip delay, all of those travel assistance coverage.
Excellent. And before we wrap up, you mentioned at the top of the podcast some of the professional services that we offer, but I want to zero in on the long-term care planning and consulting, because right now the long-term care market is in a lot of flux. And this is, part of this we see with the federal long-term care insurance program. It's actually closed to new enrollments or any changes in enrollments right now. And so people are new federal employees, existing federal employees, they're looking to add that, they have to look elsewhere. And we've always encouraged them to look elsewhere because there's a lot of options out there. But how can we and really our partner help as people are looking at long-term care insurance and planning options?
Sure. We have a wonderful consultant. It's Long-Term Care Planning, Inc. And they are going to advise you. They can just give you an overview of long-term care insurance, what it covers. They can get your affordability, assess your affordability, assess your caregiving needs, and then they will advise you based on what's available in the market, what plans may be best for you, and will walk you through that whole process from beginning to end.
Yes.
And it is a free of charge to our members.
That's important. I want to make sure we got that in there as well. So
free of charge.
We'll post some links both to some of our partners and some additional information in the show notes, but you can find more information on all these programs at afspa.org/AIP, like Ancillary Insurance Programs. But for now, Adrienne, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's always a joy to talk about the program, to be on the podcast, and to see you, Kyle.
Oh, of course, and to see you. But seriously, thank you for sharing with us once again. And I hope some of our members will be reaching out to you, and some of our listeners may take a new interest in AFSPA.
Please, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions at AIP@AFSPA.org.
Perfect. This has been AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. All information offered in this podcast is meant to be educational. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily represent AFSPA. Should there be any discrepancy between information offered in this podcast and official plan documents for the Foreign Service Benefit Plan or other products offered by AFSPA, the policy provisions will prevail. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to AFSPA Talks to catch our next episode. Please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app and share your feedback with us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Search for @AFSPA Cares. Talk again soon.
Thanks for joining us this week on AFSPA Talks. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll never miss an episode. If you have any follow-up questions about the topics in this episode, join our AFSPA Live Q&A session on the last Thursday of every month. We will be streaming live on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/AFSPAcares at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to answer your questions. Thanks for listening.